Hello, good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome to Sayalay Buddhist Society online Dhamma talk series. Yeah, good morning and happy Sunday again. We are very happy to see you all online today to join us on this Dhamma talk. Actually, we are so thankful and so grateful to Sayalay Susila for accepting our invitation. Today our Dhamma talk, the topic is do you still carry the burden? This is part of the Bhara Sutta, which Sayalay Susila is going to talk about. We will just before we do that, this morning, we'll start with morning puja first, and then we'll come back and we'll invite Sayalay to give us a talk. So actually, for today's Dhamma talk, we have actually 9 Buddhist society that join us. They are the KMBS, Kinara Metta Buddhist Society, Metta Lodge in Johor, Putra Height Buddhist Society, Mudita Buddhist Society, Persatuan Buddhist Hilir Perak in Teluk Intan. We also have MBSB, the Maha Satipatthana, and we have Taiping Bodhi Lankaram as well. We are very grateful that they are able to join us for so many times. And we also have our support from Friends of Aloka. And last but not least, the Johor Guardians Metta Buddhist Fellowship. Once again, welcome to our Sayalay Buddhist Society online Dhamma talk series. Before we proceed, let us now do morning puja first.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Adinnādāna veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapama dattana veramani සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විඤ්ඤාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති. ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දින්තිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතම්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝහිති. සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ යතිරං චන්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුංගලා ඒස භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දංකිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුන්තරං පුඤ්ඤං කෙන්තං ලෝකස්සාති. සාදු සාදු සාදු.
Hello, brother and sister. Welcome back. For those who have just joined us, good morning and happy Sunday. Sayalay has already come online. I will invite her to give us a talk shortly. Before that, I'd just like to give a short introduction about Sayalay. So Sayalay Susila is the founder for AVMC, which stands for Appamada Vihari Meditation Center in Penang. Sayalay, after her graduation from USM, she was ordained in 1991 and she practiced meditation, insight meditation under the guidance of Venerable Pandita Sayadaw. And she has also learned concentration meditation and Abhidhamma under Venerable Sayadaw. And she has remained in the forest for more than 10 years. So today Sayalay is going to share with us about this Bhara Sutta. So we are going to discuss about what are the burdens that we are carrying, and hopefully we'll learn about how to abandon it. So without further ado, I shall invite Sayalay to come online. Sayalay, please.
Humble sisters and brothers in the Dhamma. Internet is not stable.
Yes, Sayalay, we can hear you.
So you passed the mic to me already, or?
Yes, Sayalay, please continue.
When is it? Okay, so before we start, I want everybody to calm down the mind first by concentrate on your breath for just 5 minutes. Okay? So please gently close your eyes and relax. Your shoulder and neck must be relaxed. Then keep your attention. Breathe in, breathe out. For the first 3 breaths, we will breathe deeply in order to relax. Breathe in deeply, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, let go of your worry and concern. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now you can breathe normally, naturally, keeping your attention under the nostril and gently breathe in and breathe out. You can count the breath since it's very short duration. Counting can calm down your mind faster. Try to keep your mind happy. So happily in, happily breathe out. Do not entertain any thoughts. Whenever you discover this thought, just let it go and come back to the breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, enough for today. Otherwise, we have not enough time to finish my talk. Okay, so Brother Wu, can you see the screen in a good position?
Yes, Sayalay.
Awesome. I think I can hear you. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Great. So today, Okay, so I'm going to share with you one of the sutta from Samyutta Nikaya called Bhara Sutta. It is from Khanda Samyutta 22, Sutta 22. Okay, it's about the 5 aggregates, Panja Khanda. So before I start, I want to pay homage to the Buddha first. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samaha sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato sambuddhassa. Namo Bhagavato Arahato Samaha Sambuddhassa. So in this sutta, Buddha asked the monk the 4 questions. First, Buddha asked, what is the burden? Second one, who is the carrier of the burden? The third one, the taking up of the burden. And number 4, the lying down of the burden. So let's come to the point number 1. What is the burden? Bala means burden. So if I ask you what is the burden, you may say, oh, my age is my burden. My pain burden. VMC is my burden. Okay, so each one has his own burden, but let's see what Buddha said about the burden. Okay, Buddha sees things in the ultimate truth, especially the suffering and the causes for the suffering. So Buddha said, what is the burden? The 5 aggregates subject to clinging is the burden. Pancu padana khanda is the burden. Because we sell in a conventional truth is the burden. And also the cause for this burden that is called 5 aggregate. 5 aggregate is a burden, and clinging to the 5 aggregate is the cause for that burden. Okay? Then we will go into a little bit detail the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. First is the form aggregate subject to clinging. We'll learn the 5, then I will go one by one. The second, the feeling subject to clinging. Third, the perception aggregate subject to clinging. The fourth, the volitional formations aggregate, consciousness aggregate subject to clinging. Let's see what is form aggregate first. I will go one by one, the 5 aggregates. So what is the form aggregate? Rupa khanda. Rupa means form. Khanda means aggregates. So the form aggregate is ultimate truth. But in the conventional truth, the body is called form aggregate. So we should understand Dhamma in 2 ways. One is conventional truth, one is ultimate truth. And when Buddha talk about the Four Noble Truths, Buddha only talk about ultimate truth. Okay, so what is the form aggregate? Number one, form aggregate can be divided into two portions. Number one is called the four great elements, Mahabhuta. Okay, what are the four? Inside your body, whatever part you can feel hardness is called earth element. The second one is called water element. Inside your body, you can, if you can find anything that's watery, for example, your tears, your saliva, your urine, your blood, all this is called water element. And number three is fire element. You can feel the bodily temperature in the body, you can feel the heat in the body, all these are called fire element. And the last one, wind element, which is also very common. Now you can wind in your stomach, in your intestine, and the wind that moves your limbs, the winds that push you to walk, this are called wind element. So the whole body is made up by the four elements. Body is conventional truth. The four great elements, ultimate truth. There comes another called derived materiality or derived form from these four elements. So depend on the four elements, then there comes eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, and so on. Whatever in the body, apart from this four elements, the rest are called derived form or derived materiality arising from the four great elements. So this is called form aggregate. Now, I want to differentiate what is called form aggregate and what is the why it is called the form aggregate subject to clinging. These are two different things. Form aggregate, all of us have form aggregate. Arahant also got form aggregate. And as long as we are not Arahant, we have the form aggregate subject to clinging. But Arahant has no form aggregate subject to clinging. Arahant got form, but he has no clinging. Therefore, his form does not subject to his clinging. We, as an ordinary person, even you are an anagami, you still have the form aggregate subject to clinging. Okay? So, Buddha say, what is called form aggregate subject to clinging? Buddha say, whatever kind of form there is, whether past, future, pleasant, internal, superior, inferior, far and near. That is ten self by the view of self. Okay, and that can be clung to. That can be clung to by craving, as much so on. It's called form aggregates subject to clinging. So, if I ask you why the form aggregate is called form aggregate subject to clinging, how should you answer? Then you should answer that. You should answer that. Cling to the body, to the form as myself, and cling to my body as mine, belong to me. Therefore, it form aggregates. So, let's say I give you an example. When your body is sick, Do you regard your body? Most of us, when we sick, we become very depressed because we cling to the body as myself. Therefore, that form become the form subject to clinging. And also, when your body is sick, do you cling to your body as my sickness? Yes, right? My sickness, not other people's sickness, my sickness. And that form also is clung to as craving. Crave or clung to it with craving as mine. My body, my sickness, and so on. Therefore, that form, that body become subject to clinging. Okay? And here Buddha mentioned whatever kind of form, whether it's past, future, or present, internal, external, other people's form. We also cling to other people's husband. We cling to our husband with craving. My daughter, my parents. So we also cling to people's form with clinging. As mine, belong to me. Okay? Therefore, external form also subject to clinging. Okay? Then we not only cling to our present form as my body belong to me. We also cling to our past form. I would like to give you an example. One of my students in her past life, past life as a beautiful female heavenly beings. So, and when he see herself in the present life, he said that now I'm nobody, just a householder, housewife. But in my past, my form is so beautiful, brilliant, and in the heaven enjoys sensual pleasures. So whenever she compare her present form with the past form, then she strongly identifies the past form, self, the view of self. Not only that, she always wants to go back to the heavenly world as heavenly female Devi, to that past form as belong to her. Therefore, not only the present form, the past form in our past life. So we not only cling to our present form as myself belong to me, we also cling to our past form as myself, whatever kind of form that is, whether past or future. We may expect to be reborn in heaven. So we also cling to the form in the future. I want to reborn as a female in my next life. I want to reborn as male, as bhikkhu in my next life. All these are clinging to the form in the past. Okay? Then internal is yourself. External is your beloved one. You also cling to them as belong to you. Okay. So all this form, whether past, present, future, inferior, or what does it mean inferior? They say some of the in India there's low caste, right? The lowest caste. So their form is more inferior compared with the Brahmin. But if you ask them, do you cling your form as yourself or not? Definitely they will say yes. Even the beggar, inferior form, also cling to their form as themselves, right? Therefore, whatever kind of form, whether it's past, present, internal, external, superior, inferior, that is tainted with wrong view of self. And that can be clung to as mine, belong to me. That is called a form aggregate subject to clinging. Okay, is it clear? Okay, now we come to the next one. The second one is called what is the feeling? Vedana. Vedana. If Buddha say it feels, therefore it's called feeling. Suppose your hand is burned by hot water. When the hot water or the fire burn your skin, do you feel something painful? That feeling is called Vedana, feeling. That feels, that something feels. It's called feeling. It's not you feels. It's not you feel something. It's the feeling itself feels. But because we don't understand, feeling feels. Therefore, we say, I feel painful when my hand is burned by fire. Therefore, the feeling become the feeling become tainted by the wrong view of self. In fact, it's the feeling feels, but we identify that feeling as I feel. Therefore, it's tainted by the wrong view of self. Okay, then it becomes the subject, the feeling aggregate subject to clinging. Another example, when you enjoy, they say you enjoy the tasty food. The time when the tasty food comes to contact with your tongue, do you feel pleasant or not? Yes. So is it you feel the pleasant or feeling feel the pleasant? Feeling feels. Now you can answer feeling feels, but when you come to the actual experience, you forget the feeling feel. You only feel I feel the delicious of the food. Therefore, feeling easily become tainted with the wrong view of self and become the subject of clinging as my feeling. Okay. So therefore, Buddha said, it feels. Whatever in the body that feels is called feeling. It's not yourself. And there are three types of feeling. One is called pleasant feeling. Another one is called painful feeling. Pleasant feeling is very easy. When your eye sees a beloved one, then you feel pleasant. At that moment, feel the pleasantness. Okay. Then when your hand is burned by water, hot water, it feels. At that time, painful feeling feels. It's neither pleasant nor painful feeling. So when you see a stranger or you walk in the street and you see so many strangers coming, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. At that moment, is the third type of feeling. Neither pleasant nor painful feeling feels. Okay. So, whether it's painful feeling, painful feeling, pleasant feeling, or neither pleasant or painful feeling, if you regard these three things yourself, feeling as myself, then we call the feeling aggregate subject to clinging already. Okay, and whenever you regard your pleasant feeling or painful feeling as mine, belong to me, then your feeling also become subject to clinging. So this is different. Feeling aggregate is when you cling to them as myself, belong to me, then it becomes subject to clinging. Okay. Next one. The perception aggregate subject to clinging. Sanya, sanyo, padana, kanda. Okay, what is perception? Sanya. perception perception. What does it mean? For example, when you first time see the durian, what is the specific feature of the durian? Everybody know, thorny, a lot of thorny. So perception perceive the specific feature of the durian. And then perception makes a sign or mark regarding those features. So when you first time see the durian, then you perceive the specific feature of durian that is thorny. Then you make a mark in your heart. Durian is thorny. So next time when you come across the durian again, why you can recognize? Why you can recognize this durian? Simply, previously you already make a mark, make a sign that durian is thorny. Therefore, you can remember, right? That is the meaning of perception. Okay, so perception perceives the specific feature of an object, and it also perceives like yellow, blue, like durian is green. So it perceives yellow, blue, round, sour, sweet, and so on. Then perception got two tasks. One is perceive the specific feature of an object. The second task is to recognize it. So perception makes a sign regarding those qualities to enable recognition of the object in the future. So next time we can remember, without making the sign like durian is thorny, without making that sign, you cannot remember. Next time when you see durian, you cannot remember it is durian. Okay, so this is the meaning of perception. Okay. Oh, flower is red, rose, red, rose. So do you think that so when you perceive the red rose, in fact it's a perception that perceives that red color, but do you not regard that perception as yourself? So we see, oh, I see the blue. You didn't see perception, see the blue, right? You sure identify perception, which perceive the specific feature of the flower, of an object, and misregard this perception as myself. Therefore, it becomes perception aggregates subject to clinging. So it's the blue color, then it's not subject to clinging. So long you identify that perception as yourself, then you say my perception, then it becomes subject to clinging. Okay. Next one, the volitional formation for the volitional formations aggregate volitional formations, sankhara khanda. The Buddha said, they construct, fabricate the formations, bhikkhus. That's why they are called formations. Formation means sankhara. What is the meaning of sankhara? Whatever things produced by cause and effect is called sankhara. So formation is the leader of all sankhara, and it construct, fabricate the formations. Therefore, formation responsible to verbally and mental action. So when we perform dana, they say we perform dana, we accumulate good merit, right? So it's volition. Volition means that the will to do something. So when we perform the good action, for example, dana, is accumulate karma, but we don't get accumulate karma as myself. Therefore, volition become the aggregate subject to clinging. Okay. And when we eat something, when I said we enjoy the durian, we eat with craving. So at that time, craving is also volitional formation. Then at that time, craving responsible to produce karma and its effect. Okay, anger, greed, anger, and delusion all are under formation, volitional formation. But the leader is volition itself. Without volition, your body cannot act one. Only with volition, your body can act. You can enjoy. Without volition, you cannot enjoy anything in the world. So volition responsible for accumulating karma. Okay. So next one. The consciousness aggregates subject to clinging. What's the meaning of consciousness? Consciousness cognizes an object. This is his characteristic. Consciousness cognizes an object. And there are 6 types of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose, tongue, body, and mind consciousness. For example, when you first time see the durian, then eye consciousness sees. Eye consciousness cognize there is an object. Then the perception makes the mark. The perception perceives the specific feature of that durian, which is thorny. Without eye consciousness, sees perception cannot perceive. So after when you see the durian, when eye consciousness sees, cognize an object, let's say durian, then the eye consciousness, eyeball consciousness arise and pass away, followed by mind consciousness. And mind consciousness will interpret, durian, what's this durian, whether it's tasty or not, and so on. So therefore, it's very important to have that consciousness. Consciousness is the forerunner for all things. Then, when I see something, eye consciousness sees something. We do not say eye consciousness sees something. We say I see, you see, he sees, she sees. So we identify eye consciousness as myself. Therefore, it becomes tainted. Therefore, this consciousness becomes aggregate subject to clinging. Clinging with wrong view of self. Okay? So roughly, these are the 5 aggregate subject to clinging. Now we come to the second question. And this 5 aggregate subject to clinging is the burden. The first question, what is the burden? So this 5 aggregate subject to clinging is the burden for us. Then the next question, what is the carrier? Who is the carrier of the burden? Who carry the burden? Then Buddha said, the person, the venerable one of such name and clan, mean all of us, exclude Arahant, all of us carry this burden. Ordinary person, including Anagami, carry this burden. Okay. Then the next one, the third question, and what bhikkhus is the taking up of the burden? It is the craving that leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there. So whenever there is craving, then the 5 aggregates subject to clinging is built up. Whether you crave for visible object or sound or taste or bodily touch or the pleasant feeling, whenever there is craving, the 5 aggregates are taken up. So it's the craving Craving, who is responsible for the taking up of that 5 aggregates subject to clinging. Okay? And there are 3 types of craving. Craving for sensual pleasures. For example, whenever so many Buddhists, when they come to do dana, sila, and observe the precepts, they pray, next life, I have better life. In the heaven or in human being, for what purpose? For enjoying sensual pleasures. So it's called craving for sensual pleasures. As long as your mind inclined to enjoy sensual pleasures, then you are taking up, you are building up the 5 aggregates subject to clinging already. Not to speak that when you physically do, even mentally you have that inclination, you are taking up the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. Okay? Then the next one is craving for assistance. Craving for assistance is assist among everyone, including anagami. Anagami life. So they crave for one more life, dying moment. During our dying moment, we will suffer. So before we die, before reach the last breath, the mind will cling to that nimitta. Why? The mind cling to that nimitta so that the life, therefore, we call this is called craving for assistance. We don't want to die like that. No, we want to have another life, another life, another life. This is very clear during dying moment. This is called craving for assistance. When you have craving for assistance because you want to have another life, therefore the 5 aggregates subject to clinging are building up. So you are taking up the craving for assistance is taking up the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. Okay, the next one is craving for non-assistance. This is craving tainted with the wrong view of annihilation. This person thinks that after that nothing remains. Craving, whether you don't want to be assisted in your next life, the next life will carry on. The 5 aggregates subject to clinging will be built up so long there's wrong view in you. Therefore, craving for non-assistance is associated with the wrong view of annihilation. That view, that craving also will take up the new assistance. So if I ask you, if the Buddha asks, what is the taking up of the burden? How should you answer? Craving. You should be able to answer the craving. For craving become the suffering, the truth of the origin of suffering. Okay, the last one. And what bhikkhus is the laying down of the burden. Just now is the taking up. Now we do want to take up, lay down. We want to let it go, lay down of the burden. It's the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving. The giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, and non-reliance on it. Since craving is taking up, is responsible for taking up that burden, so in order to lay down that burden, we have to kill the craving, right? Kill the couplet, kill the craving, then craving is destroyed, and when craving is relinquished, then the burden is laid down. So this is the reason why Buddha said, that is make the craving fade away. Don't rely on that craving. Uproot that craving, relinquish that craving. Only then you can lay down that burden. How to do it? How to let go of the craving? How to destroy the craving? How to give up that craving? That's by walking the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the fixed answer. Noble Eightfold Path. By walking the Noble Eightfold Path, then gradually, not immediately, step by step, gradually, you will lay down the burden completely. So laying down that burden is not an easy task. We have to start with Sila first, morality training. We have to follow by concentration training and follow by wisdom training. Only then, finally, we are able to lay down that burden. We are able to cure the cause of that burden, which is craving. When the cause is removed, then the burden is laid down. Okay? So, therefore, Buddha we come into conclusion. Buddha said, the 5 aggregates are truly burdens. And the burden carrier is the person, is all of us. So long you call yourself is the person, then you get up the burden. Because you yourself, we ourselves are this 5 aggregate. We ourselves are the burden. Because the burden means 5 aggregates. Then taking up the burden is suffering in the world. So non-Buddhists, they are very happy to take up the burden. They pray to be reborn in heaven, like Christian, the other religion. They want to be reborn in the heaven permanently. This is called taking up the burden. But Buddha said taking up the burden is suffering, which only few people can see. Then Buddha continued to say, laying down the burden is blissful. Laying down the burden same as Nibbana. The cessation of all suffering is blissful. Okay. And lastly, Buddha after having laid the heavy, who is the one who laid down the heavy? Arahant. Arahant. Arahant having laid the heavy burden without going for rebirth. Then in next life, having drawn out craving with its root, uproot the craving. So having drawn out craving with its root, one is free from hunger. Hunger means craving also. One is free from hunger, fully quenched, no more thirsty. No more thirsty, fully quenched already. Fully liberated, fully free from this round of rebirth. So this is all about Bhara Sutta. Bhara Sutta deal with what is the burden, then who carry the burden, taking up the burden and lay down the burden. Okay, so this is all about the Bhara Sutta. I shall end here. Then I will open for discussion. We have 20 minutes for discussion.
Yes, thank you, Sayalay, for a very insightful talk. I think while waiting for the question to come in, maybe I'll just have a little bit of discussion. Sayalay, I understand that from this Bhara Sutta, the identification of the burden, to able to see what is the burden, this is actually the first noble truth, if I'm right.
That's correct.
Yeah. And
It's all noble truth. It's all about Four Noble Truths.
Oh, okay. I can see that when we look at the carrier of the burden and to identify craving is a taking up of the burden. This is the second noble truth. And then the laying down of the burden, that is a third noble truth. But which part of the sutta that mentioned the fourth noble truth, Sayalay?
It didn't mention the noble eightfold path, right? But as you understand the teaching of the Buddha, you know this is the only way, according to Four Noble Truths, the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Lay down the burden is the cessation of all suffering, right? But we reach cessation of suffering equal to walk the Four Noble Truths. Is this only this Four Noble Truths? A Noble Eightfold Path is not mentioned. But if you understand Four Noble Truths, you should understand to lay down the. Okay. So see very clearly that Buddha, Buddha's teaching always concerned with the Four Noble Truths. But Buddha tried to preach the Four Noble Truths in different angles. Like this Bhara Sutta is all about Four Noble Truths. But Buddha used different angles to explain the Four Noble Truths.
Oh, I see.
Although you say, the such sutta, Bhara Sutta, such thought is not attractive. It's not attractive by many people. Only those are serious practitioners like this type of thought. Most people like very superficial, mundane talk. Therefore, to give profound talk is very difficult because I don't have that type of audience. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sayalay. Now we have one question coming in. It's from Brother Leong. It said, how do we strike a balance between the physical or bodily burden and the burden of the mind?
How do we strike a balance between the physical bodily burden and the burden of the mind? I think if you want to come to the ultimate truth, the answer is try concentration and vipassana both together. Concentration practice, you can have very pleasant physical body sensation. Okay? But when you come to vipassana practice, you have a lot of mental, because you keep seeing impermanent. You keep seeing permanent, that's why sometimes you may have mental distress. You don't want to see. You want to stop for a while. You want to find a balance. Then, even the vipassana meditation, you can see a lot of pain in the body, a lot of pain in the mental. So at this time, how can you escape from that mental burden and then go to the concentration, go to jhana if you can have jhana. If you don't have jhana, go to metta meditation or go to anapana meditation. Even with you can stay with one object for a long period of time, then you have ease of the mind, happiness of body. So at that moment, you find a balance. You find a balance, the physical burden and the mental burden. This we talk. This is from the ultimate truth that in order to find a balance, you have to practice both concentration and vipassana meditation. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Sayalay. I have another question coming. It said that is it the way to let go the burden? Hold on, Is it the way to let go the burden is by removing all cravings?
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. Because craving is the cause of all suffering. Correct.
Yeah, but Sayalay, just this is what I would add. Just now, Sayalay mentioned that we have to let go the craving for sensual pleasure, craving for existent, and craving for non-existent. I think Buddha also mentioned that it is a wrong view when we have the craving for the existent or even craving for non-existent. Yeah, can Sayalay elaborate a little bit more about this, about the craving for existence and craving for non-existence?
Craving for existence is associated with the wrong view of eternalism. Let's say craving is one defilement, wrong view another defilement. There are two types of defilement, right?
Yes.
View is identify the five aggregate as eternal self. Craving is crave to this five aggregate as mine, belong to me. These two. Craving for existence is one deformity. Then, but this craving is associated with the wrong eternalism. I give an example. So let's say I want to reborn next life as heavenly beings. Okay, so I want to reborn as heavenly beings in the next life. This is called craving, right? But I think in the next life, this heavenly being is the same self now. I am Sayalay Susila. Next life, Sayalay Susila will be reborn as heavenly being. So the wrong view identify the present form and the future form is the same person. Therefore, it becomes a wrong view. This is called eternalism view. So I can say most of the Buddhists have this wrong view of eternalism. Yes. Therefore, they pray for future life. They think the future life as themselves. This is called craving for existence associated with a wrong view of same self, of eternal self. Is it clear?
Yes. Yeah, in fact, many of us, we still have the idea of self, and that is actually an obstruction to our practice.
But there's no worry for it, because as long as we are the ordinary person, this is called Sakaya Ditti. It's always with us. Only when we reach Sotapanna, we will not identify the next life, new person. When this person is reborn, we will not identify this is the same self.
Yes.
Sotapan will not identify. So long we are not the Sotapan, we definitely will think like that one. So there's no choice unless we are Sotapan.
Yes.
Okay. So another is non-existence. Okay. Craving for non-existence is associated with a wrong view of annihilation. So when this person, he crave for no more life, it's called craving. But he also has wrong view that this is the self. When this person die, the self is annihilated. Self is annihilated, no more. So he still assumes there is self in him. But this self will be annihilated after death. Therefore, it becomes the wrong view of annihilation. So craving for non-existence is associated with wrong view of self. He still thinks there is self. Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you, Sayalay. So Sayalay, now we move on to the next question. It asks, when a consciousness arises, for example, our eyes see a durian, the subsequent aggregate in action is perception, followed by feeling, and lastly by volition formation. He's asking whether this is correct.
Right. Okay. If you want to say in this way, also correct. But let me explain a little bit further. So when the eye consciousness sees a durian, then eye consciousness seeing, perform the function of seeing the durian, okay? Then the subsequently great or it was brain. Eye consciousness only recognize an object, but perception can recognize this durian, okay? Then the feeling, if you have tasted a durian, let's say Mao San Wang durian before, if you have tasted Mao San Wang durian before, when you perceive this Mao San Wang durian, even your tongue not yet tasted the durian, the greed of the feeling also can arise, right? Wow, Mao San Wang, you not yet tasted the Mao San Wang, but your past experience, your past perception, and eating the durian, you leave a mark that Mao San Wang durian is very delicious. So that past perception will trigger your pleasant feeling. So even your tongue not yet tasted the durian, but mentally you have pleasant feeling already. The feeling is there, pleasant feeling is there, right? Then when you have the pleasant feeling, then you crave for durian. You crave, you want to eat the durian, you want to eat the Mao San Wang durian again. So the moment you have that craving, mentally you have that craving for durian, then the 5 aggregates is taken up already. It's one mentally karma. But if you physically go and take the durian, buy the durian, and open it and eat and enjoy it, then this is called mentally plus physically karma, both together. I don't think everybody when the durian should enjoy it one. When you enjoy it, there's always craving with it. Right? When there's craving, then the 5 aggregate is taken up. Okay? Then it's called craving, it's called volitional formations. And the tongue consciousness, the tongue sensitivity. So when the durian touch the tongue is called form aggregate. The tongue itself is called form aggregate, or the body itself, because the tongue arise depend on the body, right? So the body and the tongue itself are called form aggregate. Therefore, so when tasting the durian, all 5 aggregates subject to clingings are there already.
Yeah, thank you, Sayalay. Very clear explanation. Sayalay, we move on to the next question. It's by Xiu Hua. She said, until one sees a higher pleasure from jhana, one finds it difficult to abandon the sensual pleasure. Is there any tips for a lay person regarding developing jhana in daily life?
In daily life, it's much more difficult because if you want to develop jhana, you have to go for intensive retreat. Unless you have very strong past parami in the past. It means that in the past life, you have practiced jhana up to 4th jhana already. So if in the past life, you have practiced up to 4th jhana, even in your daily life, you come and sit in the meditation, you sometimes can go to very deep concentration, but may not reach the 1st jhana. So in order to reach the 1st jhana, you have to come to the center, let's say stay 2 weeks or 1 month. If you have past parami you have parami in the past, within a month, you can reach 3rd jhana, even 4th jhana. Okay? But if you don't have that parami, then you got to practice harder, you got to practice harder and practice more hours. Then to achieve jhana is possible. Then because 5 hindrances are the enemies of jhana. So in your daily life, in order to calm down your mind, you have to let go some of the sensual pleasures, like watching movie, talking too much unnecessary with a friend, and also enjoy sensual pleasures in restaurant too much, like bar or as any sensual pressures that distract the mind. If you can cut down them one after another, then it's easier for you to attain jhana. But if you still remain enjoying sensual pressure and at the same time hoping to attain jhana, then that does be more practical. Okay, it's a bit impossible. So 2 hours at home, then try to come to the center for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, intensive meditation, and if you have parami, you will achieve jhana. Okay, so recently one of my students, she came here 21 days and achieved 2nd jhana. In fact, she can achieve 4th jhana one, but I just want her to go slowly. If I want her to go fast, she can achieve jhana, 4th jhana within 1 day. But I just want to stable, therefore I teach her very slowly. So I think she set a very good example for layperson. Within 21 days, she achieved 2nd to 4th jhana. Okay. Next question. One more question.
Very big sadhu. Very big sadhu to that student.
You also can achieve the same thing. Just have to make a determination and come and stay here.
Yes, yeah, okay. We have not much time left. I'll go to the next question. Okay, it said during one of my meditation, I felt earth beneath was moving. Was it normal experience and what should I do? This is by Jude Wei. I said during one of the meditation, she felt the earth is moving underneath.
Not true one. because in our meditation, when the mind is calm, everything becomes exaggerated. Everything becomes exaggerated. Even your buttock there is moving, little bit vibration little bit vibration in your buttock area, then you may think the earth below is moving. That is the power of concentration. The power of concentration make everything exaggerating. Little bit movement you think is a great movement. Sometimes you may feel that your whole body expanding like a giant. How can be the body expanding like a giant? It's just the power of concentration make everything like, exaggerating on me. It's not real, it's not true one. It's just a power of okay. So just forget it. Concentrate on concentrate on your this question. 10:30 already. Can we have last question? You can choose whatever question you would like to ask.
Okay, last question. Here it said, Sayalay, do you mean that all the speculative view of me, otherwise my tanha, which does not allow me to reach the attainment of ending of suffering, to throw it, solution is practice Vedantang Upedra Sama. This is a very technical question.
Okay, so do you mean to say that the speculative view of me, otherwise my tanha, which does not allow me to reach the attainment of ending? Yes, correct. So long you have the atta, the view of self, you cannot achieve sotapanna. But when you achieve sotapanna, you eradicate the view of self. Okay, so when you practice vipassana, you constantly seeing anicca, dukkha, anatta. Then the view of self will be eradicated gradually. Therefore, vipassana have to see anicca, dukkha, anatta of 5 aggregates. Okay. Then,
Sayalay, do we still have a little bit of time? Looks like there are 2 more questions in the line. Sorry, Saya, I didn't hear you. Is it okay we go for one or two more questions? Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is a question. If only an Arahant can abandon without remainder of the burden, then it will be very difficult even for monastic to abandon the burden and letting go completely, though it is not impossible. I think this is not a question, it's just a statement.
Very good statement. We monastic abandon, if we cannot achieve Arahant, we abandon the burden little by little. Only Arahant abandon all in one, right? So we practice, let's say we practice Vipassana, when we see a lot of suffering in the body, then we abandon the craving for the form aggregate. We do not recognize the form as mine, as myself. So the moment the mind does not think the body is mine, the body is myself, at that moment we are abandon the craving. So we abandon the craving moment by moment, stage by stage, little by little. We don't Arahant abandon all in one, but the Arahant abandon all in one also come by stage one. For example, when he achieved Sotapan, he abandoned some of it. When he achieved Sakadagami, he also abandoned more craving. When he achieved Anagami, he abandoned even more craving. Then when he achieved Arahant, he abandoned all in one. So we also abandon little by little. But this talk, we just say that Arahant, when you achieve Arahant, you abandon completely. But in the moment you practice Vipassana, you are starting to abandon the attachment, the clinging to the five aggregates. So long you can see anicca, dukkha, anatta of the five aggregates.
Yes. Okay.
But samatha cannot. Samatha meditation cannot abandon the craving one. Only Vipassana by seeing anicca, dukkha, anatta of the five aggregates, then you are abandoning the burden step by step. Okay. Last question.
Yeah. Last question. It says, as a practitioner, how do we enjoy sensual pleasure without giving rise to craving? Is it possible?
It's possible. Very difficult. Unless your mindfulness is 100%. Every time you want to enjoy pleasure, you just establish your mindfulness. The moment I see your beloved one, you be mindful. Don't allow the craving to arise. When you smell something, then mindful, don't allow craving to arise. When you eat something, very strong mindfulness, don't allow craving to arise. Right? So if you do not allow craving to arise, you cannot enjoy sensual pleasures. It is craving that enjoys sensual pleasures. It's not you. It's a craving to enjoy sensual pleasures. Right? So if you can be mindful, mindful of seeing, hearing, tasting, thinking, then no craving. When there's no craving, you don't enjoy sensual pleasures. This is the dilemma, right? You want to enjoy sensual pleasure at the same time, you want to uproot the craving. There is not possible because it is craving itself that enjoys sensual pleasures. It's not you, a person enjoy. It's craving enjoys sensual pleasures.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we really have to end this session. We thank Sayalay.
End here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sayalay, for our compassion, accepted our invitation, and to give us a very insightful talk this morning. Before we end, I would like to ask all to stay back with me because there are two announcements that I would like to make after this. Before that, we would like to invite Sayalay to lead us in the sharing of merit.
Sure. Can you share the screen?
Yes. Hold on, yeah. I'm looking for the file. So sorry, I should have opened this file earlier.
It's okay, it's okay.
Can you see the screen?
Not now. Wu, if you have difficulty, then no need to share screen. I just recite the transfer of merit, okay?
Okay.
Because your screen is not appearing. Okay, let everybody hold the palm. Please hold the palm. Ita vata chane sampadang punya sampadang sappe devata anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya akasata ca bummata deva naga mahidika punyatang anumoditva cirang rakhantu sasanang cirang rakhantu desanang cirang rakhantu mang parang. So next we should make aspiration. May this merit of listening to talk become a conducive factor for us to realize the Nibbana. So make aspiration. Idang me punyang asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbana sa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabasa tanang bajema te sabe me samang punya bagang labantu sadu sadu sadu. May all of you be well and happy.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Sayalay.
Okay.
Thank you. Wishing you good health and peaceful life in AVMC.
Hope you all can come here one day and achieve jhana.
Yes, I'll try to arrange. I'll try to talk to my the members here, see if anybody is interested. And also anybody online now. Sayalay, today we have more than 100 people on YouTube and more than 140 people on Facebook. So yeah, I hope more out of all these people, which is 250, more than 250 people. Yeah, let us make an aspiration to go to AVMC to achieve jhana.
Yes. Okay. So I'm leaving now.
Okay, thank you, Sayalay. Yeah, brother and sister, there are two announcements that I would like to make. This is for AVMC. Actually, for AVMC, on every they have a weekly meditation with Sayalay on every Saturday night. So if you would like to join them, you can log on to their website at www.sayalaysusila.net. You can find some information there, or you can also contact Sister Audrey or I think Brother Janaka and Brother Bucks for more information. In addition to that, there's also a sutta study for the Dhamma Cakkappavattana. It's also on Saturday, but this one is on Saturday morning. Just now the weekly meditation is on Saturday evening. So on Saturday morning, for 4 weeks in April, there's this sutta study for Dhamma Cakkappavattana. So if you would like to join them, please, I think you need to register also. Please go to find out more information at their website or contact one of the person in charge, especially Sister Kema, Sister Audrey Kema. So yes, yeah, we come to the end of the Dhamma talk. I apologize for the slow internet connection on AVMC side. I hope you all can bear with us. Yeah, so on behalf of Shalom Buddhist Society, we would like to thank you all for joining us this morning, and we hope that we all stay safe, and we all hope that we all can practice well in the path of Buddhism. Thank you so much, brother and sister. Thank you, and see you in our future Dhamma talk. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Climb the path with gladness in the field of life, vanquishing illusion, ignorance and strife. Brotherhood and service shall our motto be, and the goal before us, truth and liberty. We will teach Thy Dharma wheresoever we go. Wisdom, love, compassion in our actions show. We must stand together, fighting side by side. Truth is undivided, this must be our guide. All divisions vanish where the truth is known. This the greatest lesson by Lord Buddha shown. Forward marching ever in the Dhamma's might, till we lead the nations into endless light. Climb the path with gladness in the field of life, vanquishing illusion, ignorance and strife. Brotherhood and service shall our motto be, and the goal before us, truth and liberty. We will teach Thy Dharma wheresoever we go. Wisdom, love, compassion in our actions show. We will teach Thy Dharma wheresoever we go. Wisdom, love, compassion in our actions show. We must stand together, fighting side by side. Truth is undivided, this must be our guide. All divisions vanish where the truth is known. This the great into endless life. Climb the path of gladness in the field of life, vanquishing illusion, ignorance and strife.